How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? It's our privilege to bring you at this time an eyewitness report of the first International Crepitation Contest, brought to you by the Natural Gas Limited, manufacturers of low-cost, high-efficiency energy products. I am speaking to you from the ringside of the Great Maple Leaf Auditorium, which was, by the way, selected because of its very advanced air circulation system, which is packed to the rafters with spectators, eager and curious. For the benefit of my listeners who are not acquainted with the facts relating to this event, it might be well to describe the two contestants. Lord Windermere from Wapping, Fargold in Devonshire is, of course, the champion of the British Empire. The challenger is Mr. Paul Boomer, native son of Australia, who I understand worked his way to Canada in the crew of an ocean freighter carrying a load of Melbourne cabbage, upon which, it is so stated, Boomer trained exclusively. I see now there's a flurry of activity about Lord Windermere's entrance, and yes, here he comes, Lord Windermere. I'll see if I can get him to come to the microphone and to say a few words. Joe, would you see if you can get his lordship to come over here for the moment? Tell him it's for the radio.
I'll see what I can do.
Thanks. Well, Lord Windermere seems to be in frightfully good spirits. He's smiling, he's chattering. Thrown about him is a beautiful silk dressing gown of purple velvet, upon which is worked, I imagine, to be the coat of arms of the House of Windermere. It's a beautiful thing. Oh, good boy, Joe. And in just a few moments, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to have his lordship come to the microphone and say a few words. Right over here, please, sir. Oh, yes, folks. Here he is, right in the microphone, the champion himself, Lord Windermere. Your Highness, how did you come to take an interest in this unusual art?
Well, I suppose you could say it all started over Lady Windermere's fan.
I see.
Yes. You see, I noticed she was constantly waving this fan in front of her face, so I asked her why the deuce she did it. Well, she retorted that if I insisted upon constantly crepitating, she had to find a way in pure self-defense, you see. My friends were drawn into the controversy and persuaded me to capitalize upon my proficiency and sort of go in for it and all that, you see, and that's all.
Thank you very much, Your Majesty. Thank you and good luck to you. That was Lord Windermere, champion crepitator of the British. Here's the challenger. Here's Paul Boomer from Australia. Paul, over here, please. Paul, please ask Mr. Boomer to come over here to the microphones. The radio. We want to speak on the radio. Just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. I think we'll have Mr. Paul Boomer for you over here right away. Oh, yes, here he comes. His attendant has just pointed us out. He's walking over to the microphones. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. Paul Boomer. Will you say hello to our audience, Mr. Boomer?
Hello, Governor.
Now tell me, sir, when did you first realize you were proficient enough to take a shot at the Empire Championship?
Well, ever since I was a little nipper, I liked to fart. I remember I used to make me mother and father laugh their bleeding heads off when I'd let one go in church during the announcement of the Ladies' Aid.
Excuse me, Mr. Boomer, on the radio we call it crepitating.
Now, look here, copper. What I always said is a fart's a fart, whether you raise up on one cheek and sneak or whether you give it a full blast like I do.
Right. As long as the BBC has no objections, I personally find the four-letter word easier to say, more descriptive than the longer and more academic crepitate.
Thank you. And I'd like to say...
Oh, there's the bell. Thank you, Mr. Boomer, and good luck, sir. Paul Boomer hurries off to the center of the arena to meet the champion and receive instructions. Now, the house lights are dimming, and a great flood of high-powered electric lights cascade down onto the center of this great arena where stands in simple eloquence the farting post. The farting post is about 4 feet high and is decorated with red, white, and blue bunting up to about 9 inches from the top. The bare top section is worn smooth by the grip of many hands in previous contests. Now, it appears that Paul Boomer is to be the first at the post, and that, I believe, is customary for the challenger to make the first effort. Yes, Paul Boomer takes off his dressing gown and strides to the farting post. He grips it firmly about the top and flexes his knees. The signal to commence has not yet been given, so we may assume that these are just preliminaries. I think I have time to describe Mr. Boomer's outfit. He is stripped from the waist up and wears a tight-fitting trunks of powder blue trimmed with scarlet. These trunks are similar to those worn by wrestlers with one important difference. Excuse me. There's a hole about 6 inches in diameter removed from the seat. This, of course, has been done for obvious reasons. This cinematograph is called the Fenêtre de Brise, literally translated meaning the Zephyr window. Mr. The Boomer's finesse debris has a scarlet trim about its perimeter, giving a very provocative air to this genial Australian backside. Ah, there goes the signal to commence. You might have heard it over the microphone, a blast on the medieval Blanche-type Spiegel, the traditional woodwind instrument associated with the sport for centuries. And now an expectant hush falls over the vast throng as Boomer walks slowly, deliberately to the farting post. He's exuding confidence, and he gives one last all-encompassing grin to the tense audience as he grips the farting post between a pair of hands that look as though they could splinter the post. Now he flexes his knees, much in the manner of a boxer, seems to be concentrating on the very top of the farting post. You can hear the pin drop, and here it comes. Oh, a beauty, a beauty. I think it was a triple flutter blast. Yes, that's what the judge signaled. A triple flutter blast. That gives him 25 points right off the bat. And another of the same, and another 25 points. That followed by one, two, I beg your pardon, 3 fudgy falls in rapid succession. It's amazing how this man can change pace and stride by a simple, slight shifting of his buttock area. He's still gripping the post, in complete concentration. Boomer now has a score of 65. Those last 3 fudgy falls at 5 points apiece, adding 15 to his previous score. And now, a blooper, a perfectly executed blooper. What's that? I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but that was a follow-up blooper. A follow-up blooper. The second time in the history of the sport that a follow-up blooper has been achieved in open competition. The only other time, I believe, was during the World Series held in Europe in 1783. During the course of the series, Francois Fouf, the famous French fighter, after leaving a follow-up blooper, defeated Sandy McWind, his Scottish opponent, by only 1 bloop, and then dropped dead. As you know, since then, in honor of Monsieur Fouf, the bloop has been dropped from open competition. And now the score is 105 for Boomer. A blooper, of course, counts 10 points, but a follow-up blooper, a very difficult maneuver, gives 40 points. Well, this certainly has been a whirlwind set, and I think that Paul Boomer is about played out, or blown out, as they say. What am I saying? There's a fudgy fall, and another. That gives him 10 more points. He's not through yet, apparently. Wait a minute. Here comes a freep. A little freep worth only 2 points and very dangerous. And another freep. Well, not bad. He's certainly putting up a fighting finish. 4 freeps, a very hazardous fault because of the danger of plotching, but giving him 8 very valuable points. And there he throws up his hands. He throws up his hands as a signal that he's finished. And the crowd gives him a squatting ovation, which in the sport is traditional. He's sitting down, looking a little pale, a little deflated perhaps, but smiling happily at the crowd. And by the way, in championship contests such as this, it's not unusual for the participants to experience a weight loss of up to 5 to 7 pounds. This man has definite charm about him that has endeared him to all except the most rabid Windersmere fans. And, wait a minute now. Here we go. Paul Boomer! 123 points! Did you hear that? Paul Boomer, 123 points! A world's record, beating Lord Windersmere's previous world's mark of 119 by 4 points. Paul Boomer, at this moment, is the world's champion. But for how long? We don't know, because Lord Windersmere might take it right back again. And here's his lordship now, walking up to the post, apparently not in the least bit concerned by the brilliant performance of the challenger. He's outfitted a little differently from Paul Boomer. He has purple tights, full-length tights, and around the finesse debris, you remember the hole cut from the center of the seat, around which there's a fringe of little gold tassels about 4 inches long. This, no doubt, is some decoration affected by... Just a moment. There seems to be some sort of dispute here. Paul Boomer and his seconds are on their feet and seem to be arguing with the judges and pointing to the fringe on the champion's posterior. Uh-oh. I see. Paul Boomer's claiming that the fringe might add a whistle or some other sound to Lord Windersmere's efforts and so increase their value. And after all, in an important championship contest like this, every little advantage must be jealously watched. The judges appear to be agreeing with Paul Boomer, and they direct the champion to remove the fringe. He doesn't like the decision very much, and the crowd is getting resentful, and they think he should be a better sport about it. And I agree with them. He seems to have decided that he's got to give in. He rips off the fringe and flings it to the ground. Then he walks over to where Boomer's sitting, turns his back, and puts his hands on his hips, and ow! Ow! He leaves a freep right in Paul Boomer's face. The crowd gets a kick out of this. As you know, a freep is a very low score, only 2 points. But to throw one away just in a gesture of defiance demonstrates the spirit of dash and recklessness which has made the Englishman the champion that he is. He's smiling disdainfully now as he returns to the center of the arena. He nods to the judge to show he's ready. And hello? What's this? He's not going to use the farthing post. Lord Windersmere, the champion, in a final gesture of contempt, scorns the use of the farthing post. Well, this is developing into a bit of a grudge contest. He has his hands on his hips, feet apart, knees slightly bent, and a sizzler, his first attempt, and another one. 2 in a row, and another, a third, 3 sizzlers in a row. Yes, a tremendous effort. 60 points in his first 30 seconds, and 1, 2, 3, 4 fudges. 4 fragrant fudges in rapid succession. It's a pleasure to see the ease and comfort with which his lordship leaves his farts. Truly a champion, perfect technique. And now his score is 80 points. 80 points in the first 30 seconds at the post. Now he's getting ready again. Hands on hips. A little bit red in the face as he strains. Oh, something's there. Wait a minute. Something's wrong. His attendant's running to him. He's in some kind of distress. I see. Yes, the judge has signaled. It was a plotcher. Oh, hard luck, your lordship, sir. Hard luck. The champion left a very bad plotcher and will be penalized 15 points. That puts him back to 65 points, 59 short of the 124 he needs to retain his championship. He's all set again and seems to be straining a little bit more cautiously, and here it is. Thundersprig! Oh, a beautiful bit of wind-breaking virtuosity. A most difficult fart to perform without plotching. This man has wonderful control, and the crowd is really warming up to him. That last, that Thundersprig counts 30 points and takes Lord Windermere up to 95 points. It's getting very tense now, and here it is. Here's the next one. Trill blow, a trill blow, 10 points, followed by a resounding single flutter blast. I think that is, wait, yes, the judges proclaim that's a single flutter blast. A lovely change of pace there. And now the excitement is really growing unbearable as the champion takes a step away from the post, and his score is 120. Just 3 points short of Paul Boomer's mark. Just 3 points short. If he gets one more fudgy, or 2 small freeps, it's all over but the shouting. And the challenger will have to return to Australia with his shattered hopes. I think everyone's heart aches for Paul Boomer. He's really a decent chap, and truly a credit to the sport. Windersmere steps up to the post again and looks very confident as he prepares to administer the coup de grace. And here it comes. A freep! A freep! That's 2 more points. A little small freep was all it was. 2 points, and now it's practically over. Just 1 more of those little freeps, those little 2-point freeps, and the contest will be over. It seems as though his lordship was deliberately tormenting Boomer by dallying, but Boomer's smiling. It's a forced smile, but he's trying hard. He's sitting there, trying hard to take it like the grand sportsman that he is. But he can see defeat standing ready to sweep away his dreams at almost any instant. And now Lord Windesmere steps forward, and hello, he's going to use the farting post in this final effort, it seems. He flexes his knees. It looks as though he's going to try for a high-scoring effort for a whirlwind finish, perhaps another sizzler. And now he's trying very hard. The veins are standing out on his forehead. Nostrils flared, eyes bulging, and even the trickle of perspiration venturing down his temple seems to hesitate so that this last mighty effort should have undivided attention. Now a suggestion of a smile from the champion. He seems to have decided what treatment he's going to give this final bid. I see the audience is on its feet, breathless, intense. He closes his eyes, a look of pure ecstasy on his face. Oh, he's shit! The champion is disqualified. Well, farting fans, a new champion is about to be crowned as the air is clearing and... oh, hello? What's this? Lord Windesmere's seconds are protesting. They're claiming it was a Voomflauten. The judges are inspecting his lordship's finesse debris, as you recall the Zephyr window for skid marks. And here comes Paul Boomer. He's pointing to a substance on the canvas near the farting post, and the judges are raising Boomer's hand. The contest is over, and a new champion has been crowned. Ladies and gentlemen, as a special service feature, Natural Gas Limited has brought you direct from the ringside of Maple Leaf Auditorium a blow-by-blow description of the first Crepitation Contest held under international auspices. This broadcast replaces midweek meditations usually heard at this time. Your narrator, Les Fosby.
Mm-hmm.